All right, this is Wylker, and I have the opportunity to sit down with MachineMuse, the creator of modular power suits, which I'm sure everyone is familiar with. Hi, Muse.
Hiya.
How are you today?
I'm really tired. I've been up all night.
And poisoned, right? If I remember correctly.
I'm not sure about that. It only lasted for a few minutes, but yeah.
See, this is
why I had a tummy ache.
This is why you never trust food or drink that someone else hands you, even if they love you.
Exactly.
So, Muse was a little bit reluctant to do an interview with me because a lot bit. But thank you very much for doing it. I really appreciate it. And as I told you before, I know people are going to be fascinated with what you have to say and what you think about things. So just think of how far you're advancing the community.
Oh boy.
So just to kind of get started, can you give us like your background, where you're from, and what kind of stuff you've done in the past? It doesn't, just as far as like computers and all that other nonsense goes.
Okay. Well, I live in Canada in the prairies. Alberta specifically, which is a little bit like Texas, but a lot colder.
Wait, like Texas, like
full
of cows and people with boots?
And oil and people with boots.
Nice.
And lots of buffalo wings, and yeah, it's actually very much like Texas. Even my city is sort of this liberal bastion in a sea of conservatives. So
okay, now Texas is the opposite of that. Texas is like super arch conservative. Yeah, because it's all rich people.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay, yeah, got it.
It's like that here too. It's just Edmonton is specifically very liberal.
Oh, okay.
Mostly near the university.
Right. Which I'm not supposed to call a college, right?
That's right. Yeah. No, it's definitely a university. It matters if you're non-American, I guess.
Hey, we just, we're lucky to get through high school here in the United States. So, how long have you been, you're in university, so what are you, like in your early 20s? You don't have to be specific.
You're making me feel old. Yes.
Okay. Well, listen.
No, I'm in my mid-20s.
I haven't been in my mid-20s for a decade, so I don't feel too old.
Okay. Well, we have kids, so you have an excuse.
No, having kids isn't an excuse for being old. Being old is an excuse for having kids, is how that works.
Okay.
So you're in your mid-20s. So how long have you been programming or into computers and technology? How long has that been going on?
Well, I guess I would have started programming around grade 4. We had this computer in the class that had QBasic on it.
Everybody's first language.
Yeah, it's a terrible language. You should never program in QBasic, but that was my first time. So
come on, BASIC was great. Everybody wrote Pong, and then they tried to figure out how BASIC handles arrays and wanted to murder themselves. And come on, BASIC was awesome.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And at least in QBasic, you had line numbers.
Mm-hmm.
So 4th grade, wow. That's really cool.
Yeah, it was, there was a French immersion school, so it was a lot of, nerds, basically. Well, kids of parents who are kind of keeners are the kind of people who are in French immersion. So even if the kids themselves are not keeners, their parents usually are, so
okay.
They kind of...
You're going to have to help me with that word. Did you say keeners?
Yeah, is that not a word that you're familiar with?
No, I've never heard that word before. What's a keener?
It's someone who's really keen on doing well in school, I guess.
Oh, okay. Like dragon moms.
So yeah. Well, I don't know if that would count, but it's someone who's really motivated to, teacher's pet, I guess, is another word for it.
Okay, so pretty competitive, like everybody trying to outdo each other type of environment.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, some of them anyway.
Yeah, no, obviously kids are all different. But so So was it something that you kind of continuously grew into, or did you like lose interest in it a while and jump back in, or how did that go?
Yeah. So I was always kind of into video games because actually I don't really know why, but
Because video games are awesome.
yeah. Okay. Sure. That's a good reason. So, I guess like my parents really wanted, like they didn't think it was a very good way of spending time. And they said, "Oh, if you're so into games, why don't you make one?" So I did have that sort of motivation there, but I never really got a handle on the skills that I would need to do that until probably till I was done high school. So that was kind of a big gap in time there. But yeah, in first year there was of university there was I went into engineering, and that there was what do you call it, computer programming course that sort of well, it was really easy, but it was also I don't know, it got me sort of on the right track to figuring these things out on my own.
And I know you study a pretty specific field of engineering now. You want to tell us about that?
Yeah, no, I'm actually not in engineering anymore. I got kicked out because I didn't do very well. I was trying to follow in my grandma's footsteps. She was one of the first engineers, one of the first women engineers here.
Oh, okay.
But, yeah, so I didn't do very well. But that was less due to competence and more due to
effort.
Just, yeah, effort and family situation and stuff like that. So,
yeah.
Yeah, so now I'm taking comp sci because it's sort of, falls in my field of expertise, I guess, and also psychology.
Now, okay, so I made the engineering comment because I thought you were in like robotics.
Yeah, but well, that's the course that I took just this past semester. Okay. So robotics and computer vision and human-computer interaction, and they all kind of tie together.
Did you say human-computer interaction?
Interaction, yeah.
Oh, okay. So, I thought you said attraction. I thought it was like a weird Japanese robot fetish thing.
No. That's a personal question. So, no, it's human-computer interaction is just basically user interfaces and different like innovative ways that humans deal with computers. So there's a lot of stuff about like tactile interfaces, like using your hands to interact with things more directly rather than through a keyboard. You have like I don't know if you've seen like the Microsoft Surface, or like there's that musical instrument that is like a bunch of discs with different symbols on them, and you press them together, and it makes different music. So
I haven't seen that. That's kind of neat.
Yeah, so it's that's actually something that was a bit inspiring for actually in my mod for the key bindings, but.
Oh, right. Which, by the way, speaking of the key bindings thing, that's like the most intuitive, cool key binding interface I've ever seen in my life. Just throwing that out there. I've had a few complaints because it is different from what people are used to. And how dare it be different? Yeah. Burn it. But so a lot of people who are really, who've played a lot of games and they're really familiar with the standard, with just, a giant grid of 3,000 keybinds that they have to sort through. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, your methodology is amazing on that thing. Just thank you. Well, I got to butter you up some. I'm the interviewer. So now that you're doing computer science and stuff, what do you think? How much longer do you have in school? Probably somewhere between a semester and a year. So. Oh wow! So you're almost done. Okay. Yeah, pretty much. And what are the big plans for after school? I almost said college. I almost said college. Yeah, you almost said college. I could hear it on the tip of your tongue. No.
I don't have any plans.
That makes you the exact same as like 97% of most university graduates.
Yeah. There's always a lot of job opportunities for people in computer science, and I have seen a few interesting opportunities. So I will be checking those out, of course. But
that's cool. Now, there's like, okay, so Canada, right? Do you is there like a I don't know the right way to say this. Is there like a government push to put people into certain industries, or is there like a I'm trying really hard to avoid saying socialism, but is there like a
Yeah, no, well, we're a mixed economy, so it's not as socialist as like the like Sweden, for example,
right.
But it is a lot more socialized than the U.S. So there are a lot of like crown corporations and grants, and there's a lot of money for people going into like basically any science, technology, engineering, and what's the last one? Mathematics.
Uh-huh.
The STEM fields, I guess, is the word. So
we've decided instead of that to just have as many hipsters as we can in the US.
Yeah.
Because any math discoveries that a Canadian mathematician comes up with, they can just say that they knew about it before it was cool. Gosh.
Well, we have hipsters in Canada too.
I know.
Yeah. We do have sort of a national pastime of complaining about the U.S. stealing all our talent.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, there's probably more money here. So
yeah, for sure.
Although you gave us Justin Bieber, I mean, you can certainly have him back.
I accept no responsibility for any.
No, really, take him back.
Yeah. Oh. Well, I'm sure there are a lot of like 12-year-olds here who would love to, but
jeez. All right, so more specifically, how did you end up modding Minecraft or playing Minecraft or whatever?
This was actually I actually played Terraria first, and that was a lot of fun. But Terraria doesn't have a lot of like when you get to the end, it doesn't have a lot of options for like I don't know, making crazy awesome creations. I guess like there's everything has a purpose, and from some perspectives that's better. It makes for more of a progression sort of feel.
But it's a little less sandboxy.
But it is a little less sandboxy. It does. Once you get all this stuff, then it's like, oh well, I could build a different shape of tower for him to live in, I guess. But so after that, I guess my friends and I went to play Minecraft, and it was a lot of fun. I don't know. I played a lot with Legos when I was little, and so that was
it's like the natural progression.
Exactly.
Legos to electronic Legos.
Yeah, internet blocks, whatever.
Right.
Yeah, so I don't remember what the rest of the thought was.
Electronic Legos.
Right. So after that, I started playing with Goons.
I'm sorry to hear that.
No, actually, I was on. Well, okay. So yeah, there were. It's an acquired taste. But I was playing on Owlcraft with Sebastian Kim and Shark Tamer and Pixotic, and a lot of other people played on Owlcraft as well. Those are just the ones that sort of stuck out to me as either admins or people who were on a lot. So apparently Cannibal Vox also played on there, and so he was actually I raided with him in WoW, like 5 years ago, and then we found out we were actually playing on the same Minecraft server, so that was pretty exciting.
It's a small world, the Goon Kingdom.
Yeah, for sure.
So you started playing, and then when did you decide that, hey, I want to make a giant Iron Man suit?
Well, there is kind of a natural progression to it, so I'll sort of keep going, I guess. But on Allcraft, they had a lot of other mods. Like it was I guess a private pack server. Like it was TechIt, and then they had a bunch of other mods on it as well, like the Gravity Suit and Mistcraft. A lot of up and coming mods. This is back in 1.2.5, so it's still.
That was like when TechIt Classic was huge.
Yeah, exactly. So, it was a lot of fun, but there were a few problems. One was that the Gravity Suit didn't work with equivalent exchange. Because they both had items that would let you fly, but they would interfere with each other.
Right.
So, I actually ended up getting so frustrated with it that I decided to try and fix it myself. So I went and decompiled the mods, which apparently is a big taboo, which I didn't realize, but...
I love how it's not taboo to decompile Minecraft, but it's taboo to decompile mods.
Yeah, well... I don't know. So I made this patch for it, and I posted it on the forums, and I kind of got yelled at.
Oh, really?
It's like, oh, you can't distribute that. That has the code from this other person, and you don't have permissions for it. You don't have distribution rights. And I thought that was really silly, but I took it down anyway. And so we just had it on our private server. We had this patch where it was the only server where you could have Gravity Suit and equivalent exchange at the same time. So
that's hilarious. You posted it on the Minecraft forums, like the official forums. Okay. Yeah. No, that doesn't surprise me.
In the equivalent exchange, and also in the Gravity Suit thread on Industrial Craft. But he was nice about it. But he just said, "Oh well, you don't need that. You don't need this. This is actually my mod is designed so you don't need it. It's just a conflict with equivalent exchange. Blah blah blah." So yeah. Anyway, that's a pretty boring story, but
I actually think that's fascinating. But go ahead.
It got me thinking about, if it was that easy to make a patch, because I already knew Java, so it was just a matter of using the decompiler and looking at the code and figuring out what was going wrong and fixing it and then recompiling it again. So it was a lot easier than I expected, and so. I thought maybe I could do something like that in the future. And part of the inspiration, I guess, was with these Gravity Suits. Everyone was wearing them, right? Because they're obviously by far the best armor in the game.
It was end game, right?
Yep. Everyone was wearing these Gravity Suits. And it was kind of frustrating to me to not be able to tell people apart, because they all looked the same because they were all wearing it. Shark Tamer actually ended up editing the mod texture files so that he would not see people's Gravity Suits, so he could see their skins. And I thought, well, wouldn't it be cool if there was a mod that would just let you do that anyway, so that you could see people's skins, and it could be like an armor that you can hide or something like that. So,
now, how long ago was this, like in calendar time frame?
It's sort of been like a little over a year ago.
So I was just wondering when you first started working on NPS.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was when I first sort of, the thought struck me. And then I sort of stopped playing for a while. I got caught up with school and with other games and stuff.
How dare you neglect Minecraft for school?
I know. I'm such a terrible modder. So when when I started playing again, I saw a lot of the mods had been ported over, some of them hadn't. Equivalent Exchange was doing AE3 now, so there were a lot of things that weren't available from EE2. But it's for the better, and it's open source. I don't resent that one bit, but there is this sort of moving forward, and I felt like that was something that I could kind of latch onto and sort of try and make something awesome that would catch on. And so around Christmas time, I sat down and sort of really thought about it, and worked out all the details. A lot of it was with discussing with goons, just to see what they would find fun, and what if someone had better ideas, that kind of thing, just brainstorming. And then I started to code it, and I got it took me about 3 weeks, so my entire Christmas holidays, to get just the GUI working. But once that was done, it was a lot easier to add actual modules and make the customization work.
And then you made Iron Man suits.
Yep, exactly. And Sebastian K, I don't know, said K, was it turned out was actually a really amazing artist, and I had no idea about that when he was just administrating the server. And so he's like, oh, maybe I can do some artwork for it, and he did this power suit, and it looked amazing. So I was pretty thrilled, and so he's been sort of a major part of the team ever since then.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah, I was curious. I know you used him for your art assets. I guess it's just kind of natural that since you guys were playing together anyway.
Yep.
Yeah, his stuff's really cool. By the way, big props to you, Seb K. Good work, buddy. Butt pats. All right. So one of the things I always find fascinating about talking to modders is whether they actually play the game or not. And I know you and I kind of laughed about this before we started doing the interview. Mm-hmm. I mean, so it's interesting because you are passionate about what you're doing because it's something you really wanted to play with.
Yeah.
Is part of it just the challenge of, hey, can I make this? Or what's kind of the thought process behind what you put into your mod now? Is it more of, I think this would be neat and fun, or is it, hey, can I do this? Like, for example, I know you're working on cool, glowy, lighty faceplate stuff.
Yeah. Well, it's not just for the faceplate. It's sort of a general model that can be used to make anything glowy, and have the light boom effect. So that's something that I wanted to learn just for myself, so that I could understand how it's done, because it's a pretty neat effect, and it's sort of like my toe into using GLSL, the
shaders.
The shader, right? So pretty much everything that I do as a hobby is something that I'm looking to learn something. So for this glowy effect, I'm trying to figure out GLSL and get a handle on it, so I can have a better understanding of how the graphics card works and stuff like that.
Okay. So on that same thread, part of the, I guess, onus of being a mod maker is that all of a sudden you interact with the community a lot more.
Yeah.
That sounded so defeated. Yeah. Go ahead.
Well, on the one hand, I don't mind it because it's kind of neat to be appreciated by a wide audience. And I have Google ads on my site, so I get a little bit of cash on the side. So it's not much, but it's enough to
right.
sort of, it's enough for some pizza or whatever.
Right.
So and that's kind of cool.
But the part of that I'm interested in is how tough is it to separate being receptive to the community with, like, I don't know, like shutting down people that just want to throw a million ideas at you that's their mod instead of your mod and
right.
you know, stuff like that. And I know, like, without getting into too much detail, I know you have no problem shutting people down that you find are just being abusive of the fact that they can talk to you.
Well, I probably take it a little too far sometimes. Well, almost all the time. And I know I have a bit of a reputation for being kind of a bitch in IRC and so on. And I'm just like, I think people underestimate how, like, okay, I'm gonna be harsh. People underestimate how little I care about what they have to say to me most of the time.
Yeah.
Like if they're not someone that I already know, if they're not someone who's going to provide me with some kind of help, then they're basically just a time sink. They're craving, or they're what do you call it? They're
attention whoring?
Yeah, well, not even whoring, because then that would imply that
that you gave some kind of response, right?
Yeah, so I don't know. It's just there's a lot of people that want my attention now, and it's weird because that's sort of the opposite of what I've been used to, it being sort of like a nerd that was picked on in school. So,
man, if all the nerds could just unite,
yeah,
we could take those jerks out. Okay, so that's, you know, I mean, I think that's really fair. Like, I touch all these mods so much, and, you know, on the bright side, have access to some of the developers that on the one hand, I don't really have an issue being like, hey, have you thought about this? Or what do you think of this? But on the other hand, like, I mean, how can anybody walk into that situation with the expectation that the mod maker cares about their opinion? I almost, like, I equate it to like someone walking to my house and being like, oh, you should paint this room blue. Like,
yeah, well, that's, I don't know. I mean, I understand from, like, I guess it would be more like if someone was criticizing your lawn, because then at least it's something that they might actually have to look at on the way past. But on the other hand, it is your lawn, right? So,
well, even, I mean, I'm not even sure that's the best analogy, because if people don't like what you're doing with the mod, they just not use it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing, is a lot of people do like it and want everything except for this little detail, and that comes up so often.
Right.
Be like, oh, this mod is so awesome, I love it, but do you think you could just change this one little thing? And
you're like, no, I cannot.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of the time it's something that I've already changed, or that I'm already aware of it being an issue, and we're, you know, thinking about how to fix it, and it's not as simple as it sounds.
Right.
I guess, yeah, I'm easily frustrated. I'm not very patient. Power Crystals is a lot more patient.
I don't know. Power Crystals has gone through sort of a I'm annoyed by people phase lately. I was giving him a hard time about it.
Well,
you're rubbing off.
Yeah, maybe I'm rubbing off on him. I think honestly, it's probably for the better, because the more people realize that they're being a nuisance, the sooner they will either, you know, just stop, or come up with something they can contribute to the community, whether it's icons, like art assets, if they're going to learn how to model, if they're going to learn how to do sound effects. All of these things are things that, you know, would be valuable assets to any mod that someone's trying to make. So, and, you know, there are things that pretty much anyone can pick up and learn. Like, you know, obviously it takes practice and hard work, but yeah, it's...
They could contribute.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, you don't have to be useless.
So, let's see. how weird is it to be like the girl out there in this community?
Honestly, I try not to think about it. I know it means a lot to a lot of people. I get compared to LRM a lot, even though our mods have like
Just
pretty much
because
nothing.
you're both girls? That's insane. Yeah. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
But I mean, I guess it's just to be expected. Like, what else can I do besides just keep being awesome and, carry on?
Excellent advice for everyone, by the way. Just be awesome.
Just be awesome, yeah.
So, on that kind of same note, we talked earlier about how you post and are a member of Something Awful forums with the goons.
Yeah.
Have you experienced, like, you and I both know that there's I'm obviously a member of that community too. You and I both know that there's some general backlash whenever people in video games hear the word goon, they're like, oh god, these guys are going to ruin everything.
Yeah.
Whereas you, I think, have kind of bridged that gap a little bit. Have you gotten any negative feedback just because you're associated with SA?
Yes, it does happen occasionally. Usually it's more because I'm being rude and condescending, but yeah, occasionally it does come up, and someone will, stir up some shit about it or whatever. But generally, I find that people understand that, it's just a web forum. Admittedly, it's a comedy web forum that gets off on certain kinds of drama and stuff like that. But
right.
for the most part, people are not, represented by, the goons who play Eve, who are like the worst ever.
The worst type of people.
Yeah. So, actually, that's come up before. Like, someone had played Eve, and the goons basically ruined his experience, and so he had a grudge, and he was desperate to hate me for being associated with them, and it was I don't know, it was kind of sad, but I think he's starting to get over it, so that's kind of cool.
One of those things where once you meet the monster, right?
Yeah, I guess.
I'm just kidding. You're not a monster.
I'll make you eat those words.
That actually scares me a little bit. All right. Well, Muse, that's really all the things that I was very interested to hear from you. Is there anything you would like to... Was that a big sigh of relief I just heard?
Yes. Yeah.
Was there anything you kind of wanted to share out there? So you want to give us any spoilers for the future of modular power suits, or?
Okay, spoilers, sure. I'm working on something that is going to be magic.
Oh, okay.
It'll probably be a separate mod, but we'll see.
Okay, that's what I was going to say. Are you talking about like a tool or like a complete new mod? Okay, cool, awesome.
Yep.
So you heard it here first, folks. MachineMuse's magic mod. Ooh, that's a lot of M's. It's the mod. Did you want to say anything to, I guess, the audience before I end the video?
No, that's fine.
Well, listen, thank you very much. I really do appreciate you doing this, and I'm sure you'll get a ton of feedback from it, because I know you are cautious about how you come across on voice, but I think it was interesting, and I thought you said a lot of interesting things.
Okay.
All right, guys, this has been Wylker and MachineMuse, and thank you guys for watching.